Hey there, friends. Mindful Monday, I think for the next couple of weeks will be like very much me in my practice and how it's going, and particularly in this half-vaccinated world that we find ourselves in, and trying to assess risks and manage anxiety and all kinds of things. So I'll tell you a little about an experience that I had going back to in-person yoga classes after more than a year. So I started going back to my Wednesday night class. What was interesting though is that I was so discombobulated, right? Getting out of the house was hard. Like I had forgotten what you had to do, I think, to like get your yoga mat together and change clothes and like get in the car and drive to a place. Anyway, it felt totally ridiculous. Like I'd never gone to a yoga studio before, which is not true. And then when I got there, I was nervous. Do you keep your mask on while you're practicing? Do you not? Like what level of risk should you take? I've kind of gone back and forth, even though I'm vaccinated. Do I wear it? Do I not wear it? That was going on too. And then secondarily, as we started class, as we started class, Marcia invited us to chant Om, which is a common way to start a yoga class. So what happens when you chant Om is that you're tuning in to the sort of universal consciousness, the greater consciousness of the universe, and it also, I feel like it helps tune the class to each other. Even though we're in separate yoga mats, at this point still 6 feet apart, at least, often more. So here's what happens with the Om, and I'll just show you, because I have two things to teach you this week in Mindful Monday. This is how it looks if you've never been to a yoga class or done this in a yoga class. So you inhale, and then exhale really completely, and then inhale again. Om. So as you can hear, this is a really long inhale, exhale, pretty big in the breathing. I was exaggerating a little bit so that you could hear a little better, but not by much. And the chanting of the Om for the first time in a live group in over a year was one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard, hands down. It wasn't extraordinary or really any different than it ever is. It sounds lovely and it's great to connect with people, but after not doing it in an in-person group, it was seriously the most beautiful Om I have ever heard. But then what also happened during that Om, and then subsequently when I heard people breathing as you do in the class, was it triggered anxiety. So I'm worried then, like, should we even be in this room together still, even though a number of people, probably most people there are vaccinated, though I have no way of knowing that, and sometimes new people are there who I don't know. Yeah, it was hard. So both while I was trying to tune into this group, into this greater experience, this greater connection beyond myself, I was kind of pushed and prodded by the anxiety out of the moment, which, at least for me, feels equally dangerous than the risk that you take with COVID by not breathing or talking with each other. So two things to help your practice this week. One, if you've never done it, chant Om, or if that sound isn't comfortable to you for some reason, find some word to chant, either out loud or in your head as a focal point. You can do that on your own. You might experiment with taking a yoga class that does some chanting. That's super grounding and connecting in ways that are sort of hard to fathom, but people have been doing it for millennia, so we must know what we're doing. And then secondarily, feeling into and allowing for this anxiety in this transitional moment, because the reality is that we're going to be in it a while, so we might as well feel it. And I have several events coming up that will also help. I have one on June 20th that will help give you some techniques for getting good sleep. I am hosting a happy hour talking about going back to the workplace, just a free and open discussion for people of any who work in any kind of job or industry. And then finally, I have my July 4th restorative practice that I'm hoping to give to you as a gift that day, particularly to people if you're triggered by the noise and maybe the possibilities of crowds on the 4th of July holiday.